limitations in biomedical platform as well as bionetworking if we try to use both the concept to understand the shift and changes in that institute, and if they really complement each other. And biomedical platform, I think I see it as a very broad concept used by Kittings and Combrasio to explain biomedical and technological shift. And I specifically look at the entrepreneurial perspective of the institute and how kind of life science entrepreneurs have managed by combining different values and different activities. And Kitting and Combrasio discuss about like the basis of organization of activities. Biomedical platform is the basis for organization of activities for change and innovation that rest on pool of skills, arrangements and resources. They also say platform are not just infrastructures, it's not about the physical infrastructure, it's not also about experimental systems, but another configuration of biomedical process. And we would see how this biomedical process is taking place in this case site. And I also read a review of that book by Lawrence, which says biomedical platform, the way Kitting and Combrasio have used, it has to be like simultaneously a concrete, or literally to some extent, concrete place, a set of activities, a set of diagnosis and research, an occasion for work, a site for use of pathological, biological and clinical theories, and an organizing theme in the historian's armor. And now, coming to the context, I think it is also quite close to the one that I presented, another case site from India yesterday. If we look at the time period 2005 to 2009, interestingly, that was the time when stem cell boom happened in India. The term I'm using, boom, to say that number of institutes, centers, clinics, hospitals that were involved in stem cell science for different purposes and with different type of stem cells, embryonic to adult to corneal stem cells, autologous, allogenic, and interestingly many public hospitals funded by the state were also into stem cell research as well as clinical applications of different sorts. And there are many, if you look at the locations of those centers, they were available in big cities like New Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai. You also have smaller cities, medium-sized cities. And those stem cell, especially the therapies, were available. But then, and this was happening 2005 to 2007-8, as kind of that boom. Then the 2007 guideline came into existence, because the discussion to come out with the guideline started in 2001 and finally they came out with it in 2007. And again, due to negative media reports and scientific developments in other places, the policymakers and regulators again decided to review the guidelines, because there was a demand from public, there was a demand from researchers and many other stakeholders to revise it. And the initiation started in 2010, and now we have new guidelines which focuses more on research rather than research and therapy. And the case of Stempeutics. Stempeutics is based in Bangalore, in India. It has a branch in Bangalore, it has another branch in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, which was started in 2007. And why we are interested in this particular case site is, this is reportedly the first stem cell company to have received approval for clinical trials. Approval from the central regulatory agencies such as ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research, and DBT, which is equivalent to US FDA. Second, if you look at the history of this company, there is a shift from stem cell therapy provision to mesenchymal stem cell based product development. In the initial phase from 2006 when it was started until 2008, and in Malaysia branch 2009, they were exclusively into stem cell therapy, not into any basic research or product development. They were into therapy as well as stem cell processing services. And they changed that strategy in 2008 and went for a stem cell product development backed by basic research. And I'm quite interested in looking at how that shift has happened and how entrepreneurial strategies have changed, come about to support that. Then it is quite also interesting because of the local global network. It has linkages with local institutes as well as it has linkages with multinational companies, especially its Malaysian branch. And then we can also look at Stempeutics as an experimental site for experimentation in science, as well as Stempeutics has emerged in an analytical sense as an experimental site for the state to experiment with the product development pathway. And Stempeutics itself has also emerged as an agency for change in that shift in science and technology. If you look at briefly, this is a photo taken from Stempeutics company site, which says regenerating hope through the years. 2006 it started, and 2007 the Malaysian branch started, but they don't, of course, mention that it was only therapy or there is a shift. And these are the networks and activities. It is into research and development for 8 disease conditions or indications, and it has another research wing plus academic wing to provide degree in regenerative medicine called Manipal Institute for Regenerative Medicine, because Stempeutics comes under a big kind of conglomeration or group of institutions called Manipal Group in India, which is a big group which has hospitals, service sectors, IT, so many other kind of branches. And it also has MIRM called Manipal Institute for Regenerative Medicine. It supports through providing human manpower, technical manpower, as well as research facilities. Then it is also dividing 3 kinds of products that I will be discussing later on. One is stem cell based products, second is medical device to process cells, and then cosmetic products based on, not exactly based on stem cells, but on the chemicals used in stem cells. And then it has international collaboration, it is also into clinical trials. It has another wing under Manipal Group that supports Stempeutics to do clinical trials for its research. And another interesting thing is the regulatory capacity building. When the first regulation came into existence in 2007, then in 2008, in 2 years it was into therapy, then it decided to go for product development, and then it necessitated for creating regulatory capacity building facilities so that it can kind of deal with the central regulatory agencies. So how that also went is also very interesting. And then marketing and funding. Even if there is no product in market available now, but it has also tied up with one pharmaceutical company, Indian big pharma called Cipla, for any prospective marketing access if the product comes into kind of to the market. And these are the 3 products. One is Stempucell. Very briefly, Stempucell is a ex vivo cultured adult allogenic mesenchymal stem cells derived from using patented technology from multiple bone marrow donors and can be used for off-the-cell cryopreserved cell product. Earlier, it was based on when they were providing therapy, it was autologous bone marrow derived cells. Now it is bone marrow derived mesenchymal stem cells, but it will be for allogenic products. It is off the cell available cells, that is what they are doing. Right? And second is a Stemputron, which is medical device for automated isolation of stromal vascular fraction derived from patient's own fat tissue, and the machine will be, the device will be available at the bedside so that you can take the fat cell and process it and then transplant it. And the third is Stempucare, which is a product from conditioned medium derived from culture human bone marrow derived mesenchymal stem cells used for cosmetic purposes. The next is the where are they now? Now they have all this. In the left side you can see this stem cell based products. There are 8 products, 8 or indications, and there are 2 which have almost gone to the last phase of phase 2 clinical trials, and there's 1 into the first phase of clinical trials. There are some conditions which are being researched only in, or trials are going on only in India. There are some, for example, for osteoarthritis, it is going simultaneously at India and Malaysia, and these are for 2 other products. And this is their collaboration with, in the right hand side you see Manipal Institute for Regenerative Medicine, where they provide degree as well as do basic research. On the left you see the pharmaceutical company. And then with this kind of structure developing, how do we see Stempeutics, whether it has come as a biomedical platform? So we look at it as a transformational platform where it really, the way science is being organized, how regulation, science, policy, technology, all these have transformed. And it is also, as I explained, is an experimental site and agent of change, and regulatory capacity building from victimhood to partnership. In the beginning, the first clinical trial application took 18 months for Stempeutics to get clearance from the central regulatory body to carry out with this product development process for the phase 1 clinical trial. Because that time, neither the central regulatory agency was kind of strong enough or able to process the applications, nor Stempeutics had adequate kind of regulatory infrastructure to make right kind of application. But now, as per the information from Stempeutics, the second application took only 8 months. So there is a time kind of gap, because in the committee of any regulatory discussion, there is at least one person from Stempeutics all the time, most of the time, as industry representative. Whether that has really helped them to understand the process of. This is what I discussed in the beginning. From this concept, whether Stempeutics can be seen as a paradigm shift, as discussed in biomedical platform, because it has really, there is a shift from family hospital working as a therapy center within Manipal Hospital to going global, and then autologous therapy to allogenic product, then short-term profit through therapy to a long-term spin-off, and from local to global. Whether this shift can be called as biomedical platform or as a platform where this shift takes place. Then what is missing is in biomedical platform, it is inadequate to explain the processes in the change. For example, in going globally to Malaysia, I think it was, the consideration was not only science, there was politics, because Manipal had its presence in Malaysia. There was religious, ethnic consideration, why to have a setup in Malaysia. And then in concluding remarks, I say that biomedical platform explains the techno-scientific and biomedical shifts. But to my understanding, there is a limitation to understand human and political aspects, which are little under-explained. The Malaysian case can explain that better. And if I want to understand these processes through bionetworking, it explains me the non-science factors in this transformation, but it also has limitation in telling us the shift. So I hope Bionetworking and biomedical platform can complement each other to understand this process. Thank you. Thank you very much. If there is any quick question to me, otherwise we can have the general discussion. Maybe we can just sit wherever we are, and if there are any questions, we have really 20 minutes.